Welcome back to another edition of the Snakes here on OOTP 23. We are here at opening day 2027 as our Diamondbacks. The rosters have been set and we are ready to embark on this new season. So let's take a look at what the arms look like here in the big leagues to start the season. The 1 to 5 rotation: Sandoval, Lopez, Slade, Morejón, Meyer, and then in the bullpen, DL Hall returns as the stopper. 3 setup guys on Abreu, Holderman, and Cruz. And then we got Manoah and Weissenberg in the middle relief role. And then Ashby and Elder are 2 long relievers. And everybody has a secondary role, of course. Well, if we look at the hitting side of things, against right-handed pitching, the lineup: Carroll in left, Mullins in center, Garcia at third, Cruz at DH, Sheets at first base, Thomas in right, Marchand in center, Tamar in second, and then Mendez rounds things out at shortstop, while Caminero, De Los Santos, and Scott are getting a decent amount of time as bench pieces against right-handed pitching. And then against lefties, a little bit different. Carroll leading off still, then it's Caminero in the 2-hole playing second, Garcia, Sheets DHing, De Los Santos playing first base, Thomas in right, Mullins in center, Marchand catching, and Mendez rounds things out. And then the catching tandem is going to be pretty evenly split every 4th game for Perry against righties and every 3rd game for Perry against lefties. So that is the lineup we will be heading into the 2027 campaign with. If we take a look at the top 100 prospects here in Major League Baseball, we currently still have the number 10 guy, Nelson Pineda. He is actually going to be starting this season age 19 in A-ball, so this is going to be his first year of full season ball. Hopefully he's able to tear things up. As you can see, he was very solid in his time in rookie ball last season, though not being too great his first year. Absolutely tore the cover off the ball last year, and we are hoping that he's going to be able to improve upon that even more in this upcoming season. We do have a couple other guys on the top hitters list. There's Bobby Dahl, who's number 20 on the hitters, and then Jack Losh. Bobby Dahl, number 20, is the second overall pick we took in last year's draft of Howard College in Texas. He is in A-ball right now. He was okay at the dish, a little bit less than league average in rookie ball last season. So we're just giving him a shot here in a full season of A-ball in as a 20-year-old. And I also want to make sure that he is not being used as a two-way player, because I do not want him being used as a reliever. I just want him to focus on hitting. Well, then the other guy we have is Jack Losh, who is a player who absolutely could be up in the big leagues at some point this season. I just want to see a little bit more production out of him in AAA, and I would absolutely be willing to pull the trigger on calling him up to the big leagues if we need a bat in the outfield. He's somebody who is definitely on the short list of guys to call up. On the pitching side of things, we got a couple guys: Luis Flores, number 44, and Sterling Jewell, who is number 90. Jewell is the 17-year-old, almost 18, still currently in the international complex, but he might end up, I'm probably, he'll be 18 by the time rookie ball comes around, so I'll probably put him in rookie ball once rookie ball comes around, and he will actually have some stats to show, hopefully, at the end of this season. While the other one, Luis Flores, the number 44 pitching prospect, he was a scouting discovery literally a few days ago, March 12th, and this game loves just putting guys that you just discovered right into the top prospects list. There's no reason for a 16-year-old who hasn't even pitched professional ball yet to be in the top prospects list, but he is nonetheless. And then the overall rankings for the top minor league systems in baseball, they think that we have the 4th best farm system in baseball. So, lots of talent coming through our system here. Definitely looking bright here in the Arizona Diamondbacks system, and just at the big league level too. And hopefully we're able to continue to improve upon last season's success. Another interesting prospect we have is Antonio Anderson, who I'm just realizing I still have in Double-A. He's gotten so many ABs in Double-A here at this point that he is absolutely a guy who should be in Triple-A at this point in his career. So Antonio Anderson is going to go up to Triple-A here to start this season. He'll be 22 in just a little bit here. Very, very solid hitter. Another guy who could absolutely get some time in the big leagues this season if he tears things up in AAA. And then there's Trenton Shaw, 55 potential according to my scout. 4 solid pitches here. 3 of them firmly above league average, and then a curveball, 70 grade lefty. He was our second round pick in 2025 out of Oklahoma State. He was good in high A in 2025 immediately as a rookie. Was a little bit less than league average last season in Double A, so we're going to give him some more time in Double A here this season. Maybe he gets off to a hot start. We put him in Triple A. Absolutely a guy we could see in the big leagues at some point this season. Alrighty, so we win opening day 9-3 over the Rockies, and our one waiver claim went through. We claimed Nate Fisher from the New York Mets here, former University of Nebraska lefty. 30 years old, still making league minimum, only has 7 days of major league service. If we take a look at his AAA numbers, if I pull these up, he was pretty good, pretty good in AAA last season, and I like what he has. Elite curveball, 2 decent fastball changeup mix-up, really good control, really good stuff. And we, right now, basically only have DL Hall and Aaron Ashby as lefties in the pen. So I'm interested in trying to send down one of these guys and bring another lefty into the bullpen here. Unfortunately, Manoah is the only one, really, aside from Cruz, and I don't want to send down Cruz, that has options in the bullpen. So we are going to be sending down Alek Manoah to AAA, but he will absolutely be back at some point this season. Alrighty, just a little check-in here. We are about mid-May. It's May 14th. As you can see, we are 4 games behind the Dodgers, so actually performing quite well here, 25-19, sitting in that third wildcard spot as well. It looks like we have the tiebreaker over the Braves at the moment. We just went on a little run here. Nice little win streak here against, or I guess it wasn't a win streak because this is a doubleheader, but, you know, San Diego, I guess we split that series, swept the Braves, swept the Nationals, and then we dropped the first one here to the Padres. But little win streak there. And as you can see here, 9-4 in May, 14-12 in April. Things are going well. We're actually 4th highest batting average, so the hitting is going decently well. Even 6th highest slugging percentage, 7th WAR, 4th most runs scored in the National League. Love to see that. Still not hitting home runs, but you know, it's fine if we're scoring runs. And then, once again, the team that strikes at the least in the National League, we do very well at that. We do very well at running the bases as well, 3rd in stolen bases. The pitching has kind of gotten off to a slow start here. Not the greatest ERA for the starters. Only 8th for the bullpen, too. But tied for 6th in runs allowed. You know, not the worst, but not the best either. 2nd least hits allowed, though, so that's interesting. Same with home runs. Very good at not allowing hits, not allowing home runs, and getting a lot of strikeouts. And then a very solid defensive team with the zone rating as well. If we take a look a little closer here to the pitching staff, sort by, let's say, innings pitched here. So our staff, all right, let's just do it. Let's sort by the staff here. So the starters, Slade has definitely been the one who has not really been impressive. Already has a negative 1.4 WPA, wins probability added, and just, you know, has not been good. 64 ERA plus, not striking anybody out, not really, you know, walking a little bit too many guys here. Probably not going to make a change yet, but if we get into like a little bit more into June, say, and he's not starting to turn things around, maybe then we will start to look to make a change at that starting rotation spot for him. If we take a look at his splits here, really bad in 2 starts in May, and then his 5 starts in April, obviously also not good. So Slade, gonna need to see him start to turn things around here. Pablo Lopez, though, currently on fire. He was on the IL for like a week, didn't even really bother showing it, but he has been solid here, 106 ERA plus. You know, he's been fine doing his thing. Probably giving a little bit too many home runs, but the walks limiting is very solid from him. While Max Meyer started off pretty shaky, but he has been better as of late. If we see here, his past 2 starts, he's only given up 1 run in 6 innings. 3 runs here, 1 run, 5 runs, 5 runs. Definitely started out shaky, but like I said, he's been better. Yeah, see, 3 starts in May, very solid, not so hot in April. So he's starting to turn things around here, right the ship here in the rotation. Morejon's been solid, 103 ERA plus, 91 FIP minus. Sandoval has been solid once again, already a 1.2 WAR, on pace for a 4 WAR. I mean, he's just great. Nothing to complain about there with Patrick Sandoval. He has been fantastic this season and last season for us. So nothing to complain about with him. And then in the bullpen, we are getting some contributions from some guys, and then a little bit shaky performances from other guys, like Aaron Ashby here in 29 innings, striking out a ton of guys, not walking too many guys, doing his job in that long relief role. Bryce Elder has been fine, not going to change anything because his ERA plus isn't the greatest, but I mean he's doing his job, not walking anybody. Steven Cruz is walking a lot of guys, but he's also striking out a ton of guys, and his FIP minus is really good, while his ERA plus isn't the greatest, so he's kind of getting gypped a little bit. So we're not going to make a change there either. Abreu is definitely very worrisome. He has been walking way too many guys. 11.1 walk per 9 in 11 innings. That is not something that can continue. So I'm thinking that we are 100% going to drop him out of the setup role. That's for sure. But before we decide what else we're going to do here, just a quick look at the other guys. Nate Fisher, who we picked up off waivers from the Mets, has been fine. Pretty good FIP minus, not so great ERA plus. Not going to make a change based on that. DL Hall, very good in his stopper role. 194 ERA plus, 63 FIP minus. Absolutely nothing to complain about with him. Weissenberger has been very good once again in 13 innings. Holderman, though, who I'm realizing is still set to a closer. Holderman, not so hot. 66 ERA plus, 126 FIP minus. This is why I was interested in trying to possibly trade him in the offseason, because I felt like he was going to be a guy who fell off. Because if you take a look at his MLB numbers here, really good with Boston and us last year. Aside from that, hasn't, been too, I guess he was okay with the Mets, but he wasn't, like too war in the bullpen sort of guy. And he's already 31, about to be 32, so I figured, maybe we'd try to get some value for him early offseason, and right now, looking like I should have done that, even if he is only making the minimum still. All right, so we aren't going to make any waiver DFAs on it yet. We're just demoting Brian Abreu to middle relief, avoid high leverage, secondary role of long relief, and then we're just going to rock the setup guys of Holderman and Cruz right now. Or I guess we probably should take Holderman out of that role. All right, so here's what we're rocking with now. Hall, Stopper, Weissenberger, and Cruz are the setups, and then Holderman, Fisher, and Abreu are now middle relief, and then Ashby and Elder will remain as the long relief tandem, with Ashby as a secondary role of a stopper, because he has been very good. Well, then if we take a closer look at how our hitting has done here so far, little bit of some guys who are hitting here. We got Darius Perry, who's actually been good in his bench role. Gavin Sheets has been very good once again, 129 WRC+. plus. He has, aside from Darius Perry, the highest ISO on the team, highest ISO of the starters. Luis Garcia has also been very good since coming over from the Nationals, so that's great to see. We would like to see that continue. Corbin Carroll, once again, hitting well. Marchand's hitting well. Thomas is back to doing well. Scott's been on fire as of recently here. Got off to a slow start, doing his thing as a bench player for us. Tamar's starting to turn things around here. As I see, he's got a sprained thumb for 2 weeks. Only minimal, though. So do I really want... We'll make a decision on that in a second. And then Davison De Los Santos has not been great on the bench. And Josue Cruz here. Very disappointing, 76 WRC+. plus. Even the ISO is not really that impressive. 7 home runs, I guess. I mean, he even got a big boost in spring training, so I figured we were in for a really solid year. But I mean, last year he had really bad months, so I'm not going to give up on him, halfway through May. Same deal with Cedric Mullins here. He only 181 plate appearances, but he has not been good either with a 64 WRC+. plus. I'd like to see that turn around, absolutely, for sure. And then Junior Caminero here has also not been great, but only 61 plate appearances, so I'm not really judging harshly on that. He is going to stick around here as a bench player for us. Honestly, he might even move into the starting second baseman role, because I'm thinking I might want to put Tamar Johnson on the IL rather than risk him hurting himself even more, because, sprained thumb's, not too bad of an injury, but the recovery time being 2 weeks is something that I'm not really interested in letting him play injured for 2 weeks. So we are just going to slap him on the IL here. Boom. He's going to sit on the IL till he comes back. Alrighty, so Caminero is now going to get everyday time at second base, and we called up Rock Riggio here from AAA. He wasn't doing too hot in AAA, you know, slightly below league average, but I mean, he was still walking a ton, not striking out, and you know, he proved that he was a solid bench player for us last season in the big league, so figured might as well reward him with a call up here and see what he can do while Tamar is on the IL. All right, so that's not ideal. Cedric Mullins just diagnosed with a concussion. He's going to be out for 4 months. That is just post-concussion syndrome. Not a pretty thing to go through. That's not good. So we need to find ourselves a center fielder. You know what? Screw it. Jack Lausch here has been playing AAA in center field. He's been playing in AAA in center field, I should say, and he hasn't been, you know, good, but he hasn't been the worst. I'm looking at the wrong rating here. He hasn't been good, but he hasn't been the worst. Actually, a positive arm rating as well. You know, I mean, he's not going to be a Gold Glover, but he's got a 50 rating in center field. Well, if we look in the big leagues, the other really option that we could go for here would be putting Scott in right field and Corbin Carroll in center, and Thomas shifts to left because Carroll's got a 40 rating in center field. Thomas has a 40 rating in center field. I guess Carroll was a 45, it dropped, but, you know, I'd rather have a 50 rating in center field than a 40 rating. So I'm thinking the other move here would be to call up Jack Lausch. Hasn't been great with the bat this season in AAA, but I mean, you know, I feel like if he plays every day in the big leagues, maybe he steps his game up here. My scout obviously seems to think that he's got the potential to be a big league player. He's the number 17 prospect. We have Cameron Davis, who was our second-round pick a few years ago. He's currently in Double-A, hitting about league average. We could try to rush him to the big leagues here, but I'm thinking I'd rather go with Roush first. We've also got R.J. Mayer, who's that 80-grade range guy we have in Double-A at this point. He's 25. He was our 10th-round pick in 2025. You know, he's never going to hit in the big leagues. He's been hitting like slightly below league average in the minor leagues here for us. That's fine, but he's been very good defensively. Is it not going to show? Well, that's annoying. It's not going to show his career even in the minor leagues. Well, that's quite annoying. But I mean, he's had like 10 plus ZRs every single season, and he's off to a start where he's got a 3. So we could rush him up to the big leagues here. But honestly, I'd rather see what we have in Jack Lausch. So I think that's what we're going to do here. Jack Lausch is going to come up and play center field in the big leagues. Here we go. Jack Lausch, center field, is hitting 7th against righties, and he is hitting 8th against lefties. Let's see what we got in him. And another injury has happened. Colin Holderman, diagnosed with chronic back soreness. He'll be out for 4 weeks. So, he wasn't really turning things around, walking way too many guys, so Holderman here, going to go on the IL. So our guy Adone here has been down in AAA doing his thing once again this season, pitching very well out of the bullpen here, so we are going to reward him with a call-up back to the big leagues. Alright, so 2 things have popped up. Corbin Carroll just had a 34-game hitting streak snapped as we reach the first-year player draft here. We beat the Royals, but Corbin Carroll absolutely on a tear here. 34 games in a row. My goodness. He's got a 2 WAR already, 118 WRC plus, exactly what he hit last season. I mean, just incredibly consistent. We've got him signed to the long-term team-friendly deal. Swiping 15 bags at a 93% rate. I mean, what else do you want from the guy? But before we actually hop into the draft here, just a quick little rundown of how things have been going here lately. We are now 10.5 games out of our division because the Dodgers are just an absolute wagon and pretty impossible to keep up with them. At least where we are in at least where we are right now in where we are as a team. You know, it's still trying to get our young guys to the big leagues here. You know, we're obviously not going to compete with the Dodgers right now for the division, but still firmly in, and I shouldn't say firmly, but still in the wild card picture right now. It's pretty tight race between multiple teams, but we are the number 2 wild card spot as of right now, so things are still looking good. Our run scored has recently dropped. I literally looked at this like 3 days ago, and it was 6th. So now we're down to 10th here for runs scored. Not really sure how that happened. But like I said, I looked at that like literally a few days ago. It was like 6th. Now we're 10th. But I mean, overall, decently hitting team this season. Not scoring enough runs at the moment, but I mean, I guess that those things will change. Very good base running team. Very good at not striking out. We're making a lot of contact here. I'm confident things will start to turn around as we go with the runs scored here. And like I said, this was very much not 10th like just a couple days ago. So hopefully the rest of the season we start to turn things around in the run scoring department. But the pitching definitely starting to be a little bit better here. 4th now in runs allowed. Very solid pitching staff overall there with 4th runs allowed, 5th in WAR. The least amount of hits allowed, 3rd lowest opponent's average, 2nd least home runs allowed, and the 5th most strikeouts. Very good defensive team as well, even with Jack Lausch playing center field. And as you can see here, 14-12 in April, 18-11 in May. Very solid here for us so far in 2027. And just a little in-depth here on the pitching side of things. Sort by WAR. Sort by WAR, please. There we go. Patrick Sandoval already 2.6 WAR on the season. On pace for 6.9. Incredible. Just incredible. We have him for one more year on a 6.6 million. I mean, he's putting up really solid numbers to be only getting $6 million. And Patrick Sandoval, really benefiting from our 95 pitch count here for him. Just incredible. What can you say? DL Hall, once again, incredible as our stopper. Morejon has been good with the FIP minus, not so good with the ERA plus, though. But, not going to complain too much about that. Aaron Ashby, phenomenal as a long reliever, stopper sort of guy, 297 ERA plus, striking out a ton of guys, not walking anybody either. Steven Cruz doing his thing still. Weissenberger still doing his thing. Pablo Lopez has been fine, nothing too special, but I mean, we're obviously not going to stop playing Pablo Lopez. Slade's been definitely turning things around here. If we take a look at his splits, June has been much better. I guess May overall wasn't better, but I guess he's not doing as bad as he was. You can see here his recent starts: 1 earned run, 2 earned run, 1 earned run. This one was not great. But his last 3 starts have been fairly solid here. But like I said, if we get a little bit later into June and he's still getting, kind of roughed up a bit, we'll probably send him down and then call somebody else up and put into that role. Maybe even DL Hall, maybe. I don't know. I'm kind of hesitant to take him out of the stopper role because he's been so good in that role, but maybe we give him a shot in the rotation. Nate Fisher has turned things around to where his ERA plus and his FIP minus are solid, not walking anybody, never gives up any home runs. He's been a solid lefty for us. Bryce Elder, ERA plus still not looking too hot, but the FIP minus is looking fine. Not going to make a change based on that. Max Meyer, like I said, he has been turning things around here. Did have a rough start here against his former team, but overall, though, in the month of May, he was much, much better than he was in April, so we are not going to make a change in his spot either. Yona Doan hasn't even pitched since coming back up here in the big leagues. And Abreu has gotten it to his ERA is good, but his FIP is bad, which I believe is the opposite of what it was. And he's walking 10 per 9 still. So very weird where he's got a 3 ERA, but he's walking 10.3 per 9 in 14 innings. Remember, I have him limited to not high leverage, so I don't know. We might make a change there. As of right now, I'm going to keep him there, but maybe a little bit later on we will make a change. Well, then on the hitting side of things, we do know Corbin Kale just got his hit streak snapped, 34 games as our leadoff guy, just doing his damn thing. Even Marchand has continued his solid hitting for us that he had at the end of last season. If you remember last season, it was September and August just tore things up as that starting catcher for us. And he's been very solid here this season, splitting with Darius Perry, who even has been good in his backup role, the 136 WRC+. So very solid to see there. Our catcher tandem doing well. Thomas has been fine, a little bit less than league average. Nothing too exciting. Mendez has a 1 WAR despite being a terrible hitter because he is Agent 0, and he's already got a 13.4 zone rating. Alberto Mendez, he's good, folks, defensively. Luis Garcia has been slumping a bit here as of recently, but I mean, overall, though, I'm not too worried. 15 doubles, 10 home runs. Gavin Sheets still hitting very well, 125 WRC plus. He has a 207 ISO. Very solid for Gavin Sheets as our first baseman. You know, first baseman, they're there to hit, and that's what he does. He hits. Junior Caminero has been disappointing as a Rule 5 draft guy, currently in a slump as well. Tamar Johnson's back from his injury, hitting second now against righties, and we'll see how he does here. We might make a change, though, if he continues to struggle and he continues not to be very productive, because we do have some guys who can play second base down in AAA who could come up and make an impact. Connor Scott's been good in his bench role. Jack Lash has only played 15 games, so I'm not really judging him too harshly. He's got 5 doubles in those games, striking out a bit too much for my liking, but like I said, only 55 plate appearances, so we're not really judging him too much based on those right now. Hasn't been the worst center fielder, but also not a good center fielder either, which, I mean, best we can hope for right now with what we have in center field at the major league level. Davis De Los Santos has not been good either in his bench role, and Josue Cruz, up and down. He's got 9 home runs, not striking out really at all, 17% strikeout rate. Just very weird. You know, he needs to figure things out. He needs to start hitting. You would think he would be a very consistent hitter with his contact, very good avoid K and I combined with the power, but I mean, he just seems very up and down. He's a very fluky hitter. Last year, his splits were all over the place. Obviously, only 9 plate appearances in June, but he's been, crushing in those 3 games. April, May, not his best months. Maybe he gets out of the way this year, because last year he tore things up, had like a 120 WRC plus, and then it was like August, September, he just completely fell off a cliff and wasn't good at all. So maybe he's just getting his bad months out to start this season, and he'll just finish the year on a hot streak. But like I said, Antonio Anderson, he's an option to come up here. Switch hitting. He was our first-round pick in 2023. He has been tearing the cover off the ball in AAA this season. We're getting him some time at second base. He can play second, third, short, not starting at short, but second or third pretty decently well. He could play first, obviously, too. 75 potential at that. He hasn't played much first because we have some first basemen at a AAA, but second, third, absolutely. For Antonio Anderson, that's an option. We might see him at some point this season. Anthony J. Cole as well is an option. The thing about him, though, is he's really only an option at third and first. I might start getting him some time at first base to see if maybe we can get him some time there in the big leagues, possibly. But, I mean, he's actually hitting for a little bit of power this season. He's got a 226 ISO. A lot of power, actually. 9 home runs, 13 doubles, 402 weighted on-base average. I mean, just what else do you want? 144 WRC plus. He is absolutely somebody we're looking at here to possibly get up in the big leagues at some point soon. And then Jordan Lawler's doing his thing in AAA once again, where he's hitting well. He's on pace for a 4 WAR, 23 home run season, 204 ISO, is on pace for 20 swiped bags. Just hitting very well, playing a very solid second base as well. Obviously never going to be a shortstop, but second base, he could be an option to come up play for that as well. And then if we decide to go the defense route at center field, we do have RJ Mayer now up in AAA playing center field. He's actually hitting in center field at the AAA level. Never going to walk, 2% walk rate, very small sample size, but still interesting. High leader, high work ethic guy. Maybe he could outplay his ratings. Who knows? He's an option to come up if we decide to go that way. If Jack Lash doesn't start hitting in the big leagues, we might just go the defense route and have an 80-grade center fielder. Very good defensive center fielder. Like I said, he's had like a 10-plus ZR at every level of the major league, every level of the minor leagues he's been to. Doesn't let me see that, though. But RJ Mayer, possible guy to come up. Hook 'em horns. You may also remember Ariston Vesey here, who was a catcher we took in the first round in 2024. He got off to a slow start in the major league, or in the minor leagues, I should say. We look at his career here. Didn't really do much in rookie ball. We promoted him to get a full season in A-ball. Didn't really do much. Repeated A-ball, but at the higher level last year. Didn't really do much. Came up to Double-A this year just because my scout liked what he was doing, and he has been phenomenal in his role at the catcher position this season at Double-A, to the point where we just promoted him to Triple-A because our Triple-A catchers are absolutely a joke. So I figured, hey, let's get this guy some time in Triple-A. You know, obviously right now we've got Marshawn and Perry playing very well at the catcher position, but I mean, if one of those guys go down, we would ideally like to have a guy who could come up with like catcher. VC is that guy. He was a first-round pick. You know, could possibly be a decent hitter. My scout likes him quite a bit. Who knows? He could come up at some point and be a solid catcher for us if we need that. And unfortunately, we will not be able to see if Trenton Shaw is going to be a good pitcher for us because he is down for 5 months with shoulder inflammation. Not good. Pitched 8 games, wasn't good in those 8 games. And like I said, just, you know, very unfortunate. This is how it goes with pitchers. You know, they get one injury and all of a sudden they're not the same guy anymore. Alrighty, so we are going to jump into the 2027 first-year player draft here. I was going to watch the NASCAR race, but they did the whole thing where it's like, oh, we have rain tires. We can race at the Glen. We're going to race at the Glen in rain. And then the drivers got out on the track and they were like, oh, it turns out we can't see when it's raining because it's raining and there's water going everywhere. Just NASCAR masterclass. Zero planning whatsoever. It was like when they did Bristol Dirt. And they started and they were like, turns out the mud cakes on the cars. Didn't plan for that. But anyways, as I'm seeing, Giants actually had the best odds and they get 3rd pick, while the Angels, who had the 9th best odds, get the number 1 overall pick. Insane stuff there. So Angels get 1st overall. So as you can see here, we have the 17th overall pick. And with our budget issues, it might actually be wise for us to, if there's somebody who we can't really afford and we don't really, you know, not really hugest fan of the guy we take 17th overall, it might actually be in our favor to not sign that guy and just sign the rest of our guys, and we end up just repeating next year with whatever pick we end up getting, and then the compensation pick for not taking our first-round pick this year. But if we take a look at the mock draft here, number 1 guy is a catcher, and it thinks we are going to be taking, or projects us to take a high school pitcher. So, I mean, like, right off the bat, that's something that I'm not really interested in doing. Alrighty, so we are here at our 17th overall pick. We have $9 million, a little over $9 million in our budget remaining. And the best guy here is Alfredo Figueroa, a third baseman, who wants about $6 million, so we could give that to him. Third baseman, high school guy, maybe. And our scouting director does think we should take Figueroa. He is definitely an interesting power bat. I don't really like that the gap power and the eye and the void K are just league average, though, but obviously the power and the contact could be really good. He could be an okay defender. I guess he could play some corner outfield as well, first base if we really wanted to. There's also a possible option is maybe somebody like one of these college guys, like Bryce Clavon here from Wichita State. His bonus is only 1.7, so we could easily try to get a guy who's a college player who doesn't want a huge bonus. Don't like this guy as much. He is decent, both in the outfield and the infield. More of just a contact and void K guy. There's also Tony Fout here, who has a 1.9 bonus demand. And he is much more of an interesting player to me because he could play some center field, can play over the outfield, already has he has a league average contact already, has the potential to be an elite contact, already has really good gap power, could be a really good avoid K player. Definitely a very interesting type of outfielder. I would not be opposed to taking Tony Fout here from Oklahoma State. And if I'm looking at the OSA, he was actually projected to go the pick before me here, so it's not like a super reach here if I take Tony Fout. Jim O'Bannon's an interesting one. He is a high school guy, though, switch hitter. Potential to be a really good contact, gap power, avoid K guy, can play some outfield as well, high work ethic. The interesting thing about Tony Fout is he also has 70 grade infield range, not a good arm, but I mean, he could play an elite second base, even a really good shortstop with that range if it stays like that. So very good possible utility guy, can play all over the place and be a very elite contact bat who never strikes out. And I have had success in previous OTPs with guys who really have bad power, but are just, you know, if they have good enough contact and gap power and they avoid K, they're going to be like elite hitters, even if they have bad home run power. So really this is coming down to, do I want to take Tony Fout and get the under slot guy, or do I want to go with Figueroa to get the best guy available, at least according to my scout? He would obviously take out a huge portion of our budget. There is also this pitcher who I don't really like that much. He has low intelligence, but he is an interesting player because he's got some potential really good hitting ratings, and he could be a decent pitcher as well. Some league average stuff across the board here, but I mean, Definitely an interesting two-way guy, but once again, he would take out a huge portion of our budget. So I'm thinking I'm just going to go with Tony Fout here as the safe pick, and he could be, he could be a guy who's, he's going to be 22 here soon. He could be a guy who comes up in like 2 seasons and is like immediately a replacement for Cedric Mullins in center field. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on, and that's what we're going to do. Tony Fout, he is our pick here. And we're here in round 2. Our scout thinks we should take Nehemiah Dredd, a high school pitcher from Texas. Elite stamina, high work ethic. I do like that. Looks like he can play. Yeah, he's actually quite a solid defender as well. I actually don't mind this guy, even though I'm really not a fan of high school pitchers. The thing with this guy, though, is if he gets hurt as a pitcher and his outlook doesn't look that great, we can just easily make him a full-time hitter. And I would not be opposed to doing that because he's got really good hitting potential and he's got some good fielding potential as well. Or we could go with the underslot outfielder, Isaiah. That's a really interesting way of spelling Isaiah. Isaiah Bakken, switch hitter from Wake Forest, as they call it. Corner outfielder, high work ethic, gotta love that. Gotta love the adaptability, gotta love the low green, baseball rat, gotta love that as well. Definitely just an outfielder, but still not a pure lefty. Obviously, we can't really see what he's. He'd probably be better off against righties than lefties, but I mean, still has much developing to do. So we can't really see what his splits are. But I mean, guy walks, doesn't strike out a ton in high school. Not that I look at these high school or these college stats very much, but consistent, walk a lot, don't strike out a lot, hit a decent amount of home runs, swipe a decent amount of bags. I feel like we have a lot of outfielders in our system, though. That's something I've definitely noticed, is that a lot of our prospects tend to be outfielders. And then obviously we have Corbin Carroll and Alec Thomas signed pretty long term, but not that, like, you should be drafting in the MLB draft based on what your current roster outlook looks like. But I think I'm going to go with the high school pitcher here. His bonus demand is only 2.6. That's fine. We're going to go and take him. He is the high school pitcher with the elite stamina, high work ethic, who could be a two-way guy as well. So Dredd is our number 2 pick here, Judge Dredd. Move things on to round number 3. And Scat thinks we should take this pitcher from New York. I don't like him. He's a 2-pitch guy, not interested. There is an extremely interesting guy that I would not take right now, but Jimmy Anthony here from Delaware State University. Potential, really good contact, gap power, avoid K guy, really fast, can play some solid outfield defense and first base. He's got 70 grade infield range as a lefty, so very interesting player here. No power to him, even at 6'4", 200. Line drive hitter, though. Just a real good doubles hitter. I mean, just struck out a comically low percentage of the time in whatever league Delaware State plays in. Like I said, not somebody I'm interested in right now, but I mean, once we get to like round 5, I'm looking at this guy pretty hardcore. The guy that my scout thinks we should take right now is, or if I ask for a bat, is Chris Moyers, lefty outfield guy. I mean, he's fine. He's got the good contact, gap power, avoid K-go like a lot of these guys do, but not that good defensively. It looks like he could be a little decent pitcher as well. Art King here is an interesting player. Nope, did not mean to back out of that. But Art King here, lefty from LA, committed to University of Nebraska-Lincoln. 2 potential elite pitches here, curveball, changeup, above average fastball there, 60 grade. Really good stamina, hold runners as well right now, high leader guy, like what the stuff could be. Movement and controls, a little bit to be left to be desired, but I mean, really tall, lefty, has some elite potentials here. He's an interesting player, and I would not be against taking him here. His bonus demand, it says here it's recommended slot, but it says 750,000. Either which is fine. And I always said that I don't like high school pitches, but I'm thinking I'm going to take this guy. I'm thinking I'm going to take Art King, this lefty from LA. We're doing it. All right, so we're here in round 4. My scat thinks we should take Chris Moyers again, who is that outfield bat that I was talking about, who's not even really listed here at the top. He's a 40 potential guy, and he's got the same potential as... oh no. No, we got taken. God damn it. He went round 3, pick 15 to the Royals. Jimmy Anthony. This was the guy I wanted. I didn't think he would be taken that early. But, Moyers is still there. I figured this guy would be here. Turns out, not so much. I actually am going to add this guy to one of my short lists here. And maybe we can trade for him at some point. The two interesting guys who stand out, this eye doesn't really impress me too much. He's a catcher with low work ethic. He's got the potential to have a 75 eye, but never going to hit enough to really keep up with that. And, I'm betting the work ethic is going to play into him not reaching this potential. So not really interested in Nathan Brown, even though you see the 75 eye potential there. This Dave Thornbrew guy from Pepperdine, interesting, like league average type of bat, 80 grade error, very solid, like that, decent outfielder for sure. Can play some first base too if we really wanted him to. He is a ground ball hitter though, so don't really like that. The other guy I'm interested in is Judson Southorn here, a infielder from Quebec City, played in Quebec in high school. 70th grade infield range, low adaptability is not great, but I mean elite defensive infielder here, and his hitting ratings, not going to be like carrying an offense, but I mean definitely good enough to keep up with his infield range. He's has the potential to be a better hitter than Mendez for sure, and he's a high schooler. I'm thinking we're going to go with this guy here, Judson Southorn. He is going to be our 4th round pick. Welcome to the team, QC man. All right, so round 5, our scat thinks we should take Kevin Cleaver here, a high school pitcher from Pace, Florida. Fly ball pitcher. Looks like he could have a really good curveball, decent average fastball, decent changeup, good control, average stuff. Not the biggest fan. I do like the curveball, but not the biggest fan of this high school pitcher. Some interesting bats that I'm seeing here. There is this Micah Destra guy, a infielder from New York. He's from Brooklyn, New York, but he goes to a school in Delco. I'm pretty sure. That's Delco. But really good arm. Looks like he could be a good third baseman. Decent bats. High work ethic, high greed, low leader, low loyalty though. Often challenges teammates to competitions. He's interesting. This Edwin Joel File guy, he's got some decent home run power. Gap power is really weird, but I mean, definitely like a 3 true outcomes sort of guy here. That's always interesting to me. And then there's also this catcher who is high work ethic, high intelligence, has a polished background in baseball skills, decent catcher ability, potential elite gap power to go with some decent home run power too, slightly below average contact, average avoid K. I'm liking this guy, honestly. Harlan keeping. Build ourselves a pipeline to Canada here. That could be interesting. Line drive hitter, I do like that. So if we take at arms here, I'm interested to see if there's an arm that I like. There's this Zach Malling guy who I like his ratings decently enough. Don't like his extreme fly ball. Don't like that he's essentially a Mormon from New Jersey. That's very weird. Really tall, but he has a bonus demand of 4 million, so I'm not really trying to do that. Nor can we at this point. The only other arm that really stands out to me as somebody interesting that I would want to be going after is if we sort by movement here. This guy, Chris Gross, 17-year-old. I would like to bet on the control and movement. Not the most ideal guy, and also definitely not a guy who I'd be interested in taking in right now in round 5. He's definitely more of a later round guy. Zach Swanson here seems interesting. Pitcher from Oregon State. Don't like the low work ethic, but he has a high leader intelligence. Definitely closer to league ready. Or Major League ready, I should say. He's a real guy. Interesting. Yeah, so I guess the Giants took him round 6 in 2024, and he just hasn't been drafted ever since. There's also this fella who is Giancarlo Arancibia. Very, very good changeup. All this stuff is pretty much already developed, though, aside from the control, which could be pretty solid. Definitely more of a reliever. Looks like he can play some infield as well. Outfield possibly, but definitely more of a pitcher for sure. Once again, not a guy I'm looking to take right now. Our scout still thinks we should take Chris Moyers here, who is that lefty-lefty outfielder. Our lefty issue is, in the big leagues, is just making me stray away from taking a guy who's a lefty-lefty. There is this fella who's interesting, Rogelio Villalobos. Rogelio Villalobos, I'm assuming it is. 70 grade potential contact. Once again, one of these high contact, avoid K guys. High intelligence. Looks like he could be a good third baseman, or at least a decent third baseman with the solid arm there. Potential to be a 55 grade third baseman, which is pretty good. High school player out of Georgia. I think we're going to go with Micah Destra here, though. The third baseman. Really good arm, high work ethic. Interesting player. We're going to take him here as our 5th round pick. So boom. We move things on to round 6. Our scat thinks we should take Andres Blanco, who is very interesting. Okay. 65 range, 75 error, 75 turn double play, possible elite second, third shortstop guy. Looks like he's not a great outfielder. I don't really know why he would have outfield ratings. I guess they played him in outfield in college a bit at Alabama. But very good potential infielder. Never going to hit, though. There is this fella, Nolan Traeger, who is interesting from TCU. High leader, low work ethic, though. 60 grade catcher ability, 60 grade arm. Charismatic clubhouse personality, but his poor work habits can set a bad example for teammates. That's not great. Screw it. We're going to take this guy. Possible elite defensive shortstop. We're going to take him. And why not? Our scat thinks we should take him. We're going to take him. Move things on to round number 7. And our scat thinks we should take the first baseman that I've been looking at, so we're just going to oblige our scat and just do it right away. Edwin Jolfile, the 3-track on first baseman, joins our organization. We cruise along to round 8. Our scat thinks we should take Tyrese Muskelly. I did notice this guy when I was looking at him. High work ethic, high loyalty, really good stamina. Ground ball pitcher, which we all know I love. High school guy right now. Pretty average, straight across the board with everything, essentially, except for his stuff, which is below average at 45. Possibly try to get him here and hope that the TCR can take over is an interesting strategy. There's also that reliever I was talking about, Giancarlo Arancibia from Mississippi State with the elite changeup. Definitely interesting guy here to pick as well. And I would like this catcher a decent bit if... I would like this catcher as a possible guy we could move to play like first base. Brad Harris, 17-year-old, almost 18-year-old catcher from Florida, I should say. Not a good catcher, like I said, but decent home run discipline, avoid K, but really don't like the personality. Just dog shit personality, not interested. This guy is interesting, though. Lefty hitter, but I don't really care too much about that at this point. Now that we're later in the draft. Definitely more of a corner outfielder than a center fielder. But he does have some interesting hitting ratings here. Another one of these like decent contact, gap power, avoid K guys. He's also a line drive hitter. Do like that much more than the ground ball hitter for sure. And I like that his eye discipline is not the absolute worst. A lot of these guys that are like high contact, avoid K guys have like 25 eye to go along with their like 25 home run power. As we can see here, if I'm sorting by contact, like these guys here, like this guy has better better K's potential. Steve Hendricks, high work ethic, but like I said, really bad eye to go along with the home run. And he's a ground ball hitter. I have sorted by power and looked at a couple of these guys, like Sean Hale here is a lefty bat, potential like three true outcome guy, but once again, really, really bad personality, and not really interested in that. Vince Barrett here is really the only one with a power bat who I'd be interested in taking. A little bit more expensive for this point in the draft, but could be not an everyday third baseman. But this point we're trying to single out like one tool and take that. And Vince Barrett's definitely an interesting one with his power. Screw it. We're just going to do what our scat thinks. We're going to go with this guy, Tyrese Muskelly from California high school, committed to NC State, and hope we can bank on his high work ethic. Good stamina, ground ball pitcher, and some of this develops a little bit more. So, the guy, he throws a ton of pitches. So, more likely than not, at least a couple of these might develop, or maybe even one, who knows. But we're just taking a shot on this guy out of high school. We're here in round 9, and our scat thinks we should actually take that catcher I was talking about with the really bad personality, who is a potential decent bat. I really like the bat, so... I think we're just going to oblige our scat here. We're going to take him. Brad Harris, welcome to the organization. Reluctantly move things on to round 10. Our scat thinks we should take Bobby Slaney. Not really interested. I think we're going to take Mike Mercer here, who is that outfielder I was talking about. Might as well. We're going to take him out of high school. So Mike Mercer, boom, welcome to the team. We're also going to take this Jimmy Finn fella, another one of these contact avoid K guys, but his real selling point is that he is incredibly fast, and he's incredibly good defensively with a high work ethic, baseball rat. Not only is he good defensively in the outfield with the 80 grade arm and the 60 grade range and error, but he's also got some really solid ratings for the infield, 65 range, 75 arm in the infield, even 60 turn double play. Definitely a potential like defensive wizard at multiple positions, utility guy. Definitely like the outlook of him. So we are going to go with Jimmy Finn here for round 11. I'm also noticing this guy, Dave Buchanan, switch hitter, even though he's really, really bad at hitting. But his real selling point here is his defense. 70 grade infield range, 65 grade across the board there. And he can even play really solid outfield as well, the 65 outfield range. Really fast, elite sack bunter. Definitely an interesting player. Also went to Southern New Hampshire University. Shout out Isaac, you know who you are. For right now, though, we're going to take this guy, Crazy Legs Chad Bailey here. Lefty outfielder. Decent range, really good arm. Possible, really good on-base guy with the discipline and the avoid K with a slightly below average bat with the contact there. So Chad Bailey is going to be our pick here in the 12th round. Boom. We move things along to round number 13, and I'm just going to go straight for Dave Buchanan here. We're just taking guys that we know have a skill right now. So Dave Buchanan, welcome to the organization. Round 14, Scat thinks we should take Sean Hale, who was that power bat I was liking that didn't like his personality. But I mean, at this point, might as well, honestly. Might as well. So we're going to do that. Sean Hale, welcome to the team. Move things on. Round 15, our Scat thinks we should take Bobby Slaney. I'm still not interested in him. I am interested in this catcher, though. Decent catcher ability and arm. Some possible decent home run power and discipline to go with it. Went to Oxford High School in Mississippi, and he's committed to Notre Dame. That's interesting. But we are going to take him here as our 15th round pick. Our first catcher of the draft. Move things on round 16, and our Scat's going to say Bobby's... Oh, he's... thinking Brad, another catcher. Definitely don't hate his ratings. All right, we are identifying tools and personality. High work ethic, 80 grade void K, 55 grade contact, righty bat in the outfield. Steve Hendricks is our 16th round pick. Move things on round 17. Another catcher who could potentially help out with our system here. 75 ability, 65 arm strength. Not the worst bat of all time. Eddie McDonald is going to be our 17th round pick here. Switch hitting catcher for Illinois State. All right, we are identifying tools. 18-year-old high schooler with a crazy name. Extreme fly ball, don't like that. Sidearm, high work ethic, high intelligence. Has a ton of pitches here. We're just banking on that he's going to develop something with TCR. So we're taking him here, round 18. We're just going to take pitchers here at the end of the draft and bank on some TCR luck here. Here we go with another one. High schooler, lefty pitcher from some high school in Indiana. Possible decent fastball screwball combo. Good stamina, high work ethic. We're banking on some TCR luck with Tyrese here. Move things on to round 20. This guy is very enticing because he is a high stamina starter who throws a 55 grade knuckleball, but he's got just absolute the worst personality you could have. Low in everything that we even care about here. Leader, work ethic, intelligence. But I mean, he's a knuckleballer. I feel like I have to. And he went to the school that Larry Bird did. Oh my god, I feel like we have to take this guy. It's round 20 after all. We're doing it. Indiana State University. Here we go. That is our 20th round pick. Boom, we have completed the draft. All right, we had no problem offering the bonuses to all these guys, so all these guys are going to be a member of our organization, including our first round pick and Tony Fout.